Hello, everyone. So here is Moonlight Soul and Adrienne from Just Getting Astrology, and we're getting together again. This time, I'm in different location to talk about full moon in Taurus. Hello, Adrienne.
How are you?
I'm good. Much
Yeah,
warmer.
great. Yeah, yeah, definitely warmer. It's getting cold here now, so finally. I was just mentioned from Al, he was saying that it's about to drop and we're gonna have a fire. We haven't had a fire since you were you here one day we had a fire in the fire?
Yes, yes, yes.
We've only had one, so it's time to start it up.
That's it. It's right on time with the full moon in Taurus and Pluto just about to move back into Aquarius. I think the fire is a good purifier of the energy we leave in behind.
Yep, absolutely.
So yeah,
Yep.
some very potent energy up
Feel
there in the sky.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I imagine people are feeling an intensity, particularly since Mars and Pluto are still opposing each other,
And we will continue
essentially,
to do so for a while.
for a while. So yeah, it's an intense integration time,
Yeah, and I really feel
which
that
yeah,
once Mars goes retrograde in December, is going to the inner acceleration, the inner evolution is going to definitely speed up because with the Pluto being in Aquarius by then.
yeah. Phew. Looking forward to that 4 more days.
Yes.
I'm kind of looking forward to it. And so
Me too, but I don't think we really know what we are getting ourselves into.
no, we definitely don't know what we're getting into. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and they were saying that it's okay to be in the unknowing.
Yes.
It's like standing on the edge of the cliff, not knowing what's coming, but just being in it.
Well,
And
isn't
I
that
agree with that because we don't know what's coming.
and that's exactly the North Node in Aries. So, this is
Yeah,
exactly what it
yeah, what
is.
is coming? It is exactly that. So it's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm
it is. So
I
let's
like it.
let's dive in. Let's dive in this last
All
lunation with
right.
Pluto in Capricorn.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, so here is the chart. Thing to the other side so I can see. Does that look correct to you? It's at
Yeah, 22
4:28
degrees.
p.m. On the East Coast.
Yeah, for me it's 1 hour earlier.
And
Yes, I'm in a central.
mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, we can see everything is
So
nicely
yeah,
spread out all over the place.
I know. It's so different from when I was in Mexico and everything was crammed into Aries. Remember that? And like, wow, that looks so crazy. Something new starting, and now it's all spread around as we come to the completion of Pluto and Capricorn.
Right. I mean, it's so surreal to think that this is literally the last lunation with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn in our lifetime.
In
This
our
is
lifetime.
like so potent.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, nobody alive will ever see Pluto and Capricorn again. This is it.
Unlikely, but you never
So,
know. Who knows what's going to happen with the technology
I mean,
next?
we could have some technology. You're right. They
But
they could
yeah,
extend our
unlikely.
lives.
Unlikely. So where should we start?
Hmm. Well, let's start with the lunation and then fill in all the spots. Let's
Yeah,
start
the
there.
the conjunction to Uranus. I think this is probably what most
Yeah.
people are concerned about because with Uranus expect the unexpected, but with regards to Moon to Uranus, this is a closing phase. So that is just telling us that the version of ourselves that we know individually, collectively, and as a human race, it's ending. It's coming to the close, and
Yep.
here is the illumination of why. Because Pluto, as the ruler of Sun, is on 29 degrees of Capricorn, and Saturn is by this point direct because Saturn is stationed in direct few hours before the full moon. So we're going ahead.
Yep. Yes, we are moving forward. And because it's in the sign of Taurus, this was speaking to me about the values that we hold, values that are associated with that 29 degree of Capricorn, with the whole Capricorn archetype, which is, for me, it's like the external structure that we've been living through, the way life has been set up for us, and yeah, how we maneuver through our reality. That reality is shifting, and
Mm.
with that reality shifting, the values that are linked to that reality are about to break apart. You know, that they are, we're already feeling it because the moon and Uranus are so close. And probably, within an hour afterwards, they will have switched to the other side and we'll be beginning a new cycle with the moon and Uranus. So,
Exactly. And it's interesting because Venus, as the rule of the south node, is squaring the nodes. Once again, the
yeah.
resolution node being the south node, and Venus is in Capricorn. So she's ruled by this Saturn that just stationed direct, that is the ruler of Pluto for the last time. And this is again indicating that we are letting go of this old way of relating to the reality ourselves one another that is connected to this old structure of reality that for most people, not everyone, some people are still happy, but for most people this no longer holds a meaning, and Venus being in Capricorn is literally pushing us to step into the role of the conscious creator of our reality.
Yes, yes. That is what's happening. Creating our own reality, really becoming in touch with what our values are as differing from the system that's outside of us. And I think that's where Uranus will help us because it's just something shocking. I mean, we didn't talk earlier about the political situation, but that is something I think that is spurring people to break free from the value system that we've been living with. And then because Venus, is ruling Taurus, we're having to really create a new container for ourselves that
Mm.
holds on to our own internal values. So there's like this period that of time that we're really incorporating what our values are. What is it that we want?
Mm.
What
Mm.
for each of us, and at the same time, the ability to create that for ourselves.
Exactly. And I think this is really coming into question with the Mercury Jupiter opposition that will happen 3 times because Mercury is already in his shadow preparing for his retrograde. Mercury will station retrograde right before the new moon in Sagittarius, which will be the next new moon, the first new moon with Pluto in Aquarius. And this is what I feel for majority of people based on all the information that they are gathering because of the external happenings. This is bringing to the surface these belief systems and these stories we've been living all these times, and having the opportunity to decide for ourselves, is this still the story I want to be recreating and re-experiencing going forward or not? And we all have to decide for ourselves, because at the end of the day you decide where your attention goes, because just like the simplest analogy that every channeler would be using or is using, is like you have million channels on your television. You can pick up a remote and change the channel. It doesn't mean if you're watching Netflix there is no CNN or BBC or whatever else is going on there wherever in the world, but you tune in into that one particular channel, and at the moment with the way our brain operates, we usually can focus only on one thing or a few things at the same time. So that's the thing. So this is an opportunity with the under flavor of this full moon in Taurus, of us to decide where do I want to put my attention to create
Yeah,
the experience that I want to be experiencing.
yeah, yeah. And I also thought it was really interesting when I was looking. I know you're talking about Jupiter and Mercury, but just stepping back for a moment to this Venus and Mars, it's
Mm.
interesting. They're ruling the nodes,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and both of them just recently ingressed into new signs. And to
mm,
me, I was like, wow, what is that? So and for me, because the resolution node in that square to the nodes with Venus is we're resolving this defining ourselves through the outer world. We're really letting go of that. And Mars, which rules the North Node, says, yeah, we have to align with that true sense of self. So this both planets moving into these new signs at the same time is really a push from the old way to the new way. We're stepping into that, which I find interesting, just a few days before we shift into Aquarius.
Right. And I mean, they are having
So,
almost exact in conjunction, the two, Venus and Mars,
yeah.
which is the blind spot, which makes perfect sense to me because Mars also is in his shadow now, preparing for his retrograde, which will begin on December 6th, which is few hours before Venus will make her second conjunction to Pluto this year in the sign of Aquarius, which I feel is very significant for the topic we are
Mm.
discussing right now. And yeah, because we can't see, because Mars is has entered Leo, which is telling us about, yes, there is this potentially newfound desire, this fire. We know there is plenty fire in the world, literally and figuratively, because of all these, political energies and nature playing out, and also still a lot of flooding as well. So there is a lot of emotions turning up, a lot of potentially anger or inspiration, motivation for change, but it's all connected to this past potentially because we are acting from the place of where we were and who we were, which is why I feel it's so significant that Mars is going to retrograde back into Cancer and will be there for 3 months, I think, from January till April. Yes, 3 months, 3 more months in 2025, because we will be now getting the flavor of okay, this is what we're playing it right here, right now. Where do we want to go with this? We need to
Yeah,
reevaluate who do we need to become to be a frequency match to where we want to go. So that's why, I feel
absolutely.
that with this Venus in conjunct Mars, we can't see, because what we can see is the manifestation of the past. Everything in physical manifestation is the consequence, reaction, response to the past. So we cannot yet
Yes,
see because we are still connected to this mistaken identity of the former ego attachment of who we were.
yes, yeah. And like I said earlier, we're standing on the edge of this doorway that's open, and it's like you've seen the picture where there's a being standing in a dark room with the door open, and it's just bright white light. You
Mm,
can't see what that light is, but you still have to go through it anyway. So there's this, yeah, we're still living in the shadow of who we were,
mm,
but there's this internal fire, Mars in Leo, that is giving us this inspiration for something creative inside us beginning to churn up. So I think that's interesting. And also with the retrograde back in, we're going to have to align this new feelings with some sort of, oh, just to become familiar with it, become used to it, let it become us. So back into Cancer it goes, um, so that we can become secure with these new feelings before
mm.
and it's going to take time, 3 months. Okay, cool.
Exactly. And I also feel while you were talking, what came to me with this Mars in Leo, that this is bigger than just us. This Mars, obviously, how Pluto acts consciousness and the direction of our evolution, because currently being the rule of the North Node. But being in Leo, this goes beyond just, me, you, our singular purpose, because it's connected to the Sun, and Sun is still ruled by, Pluto on 29 degrees of Capricorn. This is like literally a contracts we all have with one another with regards to our own individual journey and the evolution of the collective consciousness and universe, multiverse, source, everything, because Pisces totality. So I really feel that, like this, what's happening right now, it's so much bigger than we can comprehend or see. Yes, it's playing out
Yeah.
certain way in our life, and that's how we experiencing it. And it's not to trivialize that, because we are experiencing it. It's happening. We feel it. Like it's happening. Like we hold in a space for the human aspect of ourselves that is having that experience. But at the same time, what is going on in the world right now, it is so much bigger than we can comprehend. And this is what I feel this Mars in Leo is also pointing towards, that we are all as soul incarnate, like there is a clarion call that now really is the time to step into that purpose that we came here to actualize through in this time and space and age, where everybody is here for a purpose and a mission, to do whatever we came here to do, to support this massive shift in evolution on this planet.
Yes. Yes. And it's going to take each and every one of us to be making those steps forward. Because one person does not change the reality, but many, many, many people change the reality. And so, yeah, I think that the Mars trining Neptune is also pointing to that this is a very spiritual, this is it's a very spiritual shift. We're aligning with our spirit selves to be able to move things forward. At the same time, we're letting go of this physical world that, and not for everybody. There are many spiritual people on the planet. But generally our world is being run through these external, like I know in my moon report, I talked about the hierarchical system when I was talking about this Pluto and Uranus trine. It's been the thing that I'm working on. I'm working on a piece for it, but the trine is began the conjunction began in 1965 in Virgo. And so Virgo is where we're looking at, the work that we've done, the way that we live, how we live our lives, and how the hierarchy has affected each of us really on an emotional level. You're either climbing up the ladder, or you are at the bottom of the ladder and people look down at you and it's almost like you embody that, not feeling good enough, those kinds of things. But we're working toward an equality, because the reality is we're all human beings and we're all equal, but we're having to shift those values. We have to embody for ourselves this internal value. We all hold it. And many of us have been conditioned to not value that. So that's part of what's happening, I think. And I think that this Neptune is linking us in a way that the meaning it's a higher meaning that we're going to be acting upon
For
through
sure.
this trine.
And I mean, Pluto is on a Virgo decan of Capricorn, which is very profound. Plus Uranus, and actually this moon in itself is happening on a Capricorn decan of Taurus. So there is definitely a resonance with that. And Mars is trine in the North Node, which is closing to Neptune, and the conjunction will take place in Pisces. So I mean,
oh yeah, there you go. So I feel like we are aligning. We are aligning for those of us have come to help that shift over. We are in the seeding stage of getting ready to move there. Well, like you said, we have a few retrogrades to go through and go back and look and kind of clean some stuff up. But then, by January, full steam ahead.
Yeah, and it's interesting because actually everybody is contributing towards this change, even if it's by playing the contrast. So that's the thing, which I, had to learn to understand through my own experience of trying to, cast less judgment on people that are, in my opinion, not spiritual, not awakened, not that. And obviously, we start from the family and stuff. And this is something that I've been trying to transfer in, redefine in my program, in my consciousness, in the way I observe and identify things, because actually everyone here incarnate on this planet is supporting the awakening and the evolution of collective consciousness.
Absolutely.
Even if it's from playing the role of the bad guy, playing the role of the contrast.
Yes.
So, if we wanted to just briefly mention the politics, there are no winners and there are no losers, because it does matter, because obviously it's going to redirect the GPS, but the outcome is the same anyway. The outcome will be that whichever way it goes, we will realize how this structure and this system that is currently in charge, it has to change. It has to change.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
whoever will facilitate that lesson, right, left, red, blue, doesn't matter, and all over the world, either way, the destination is the same, which is Aquarius. There will no longer be a hierarchical system in the age of Aquarius, but we are just at the very early stages of that age. We have more than 2,000 years
Yes.
to go, so we cannot even, like, how is that possible? How are we going to make it
Yes.
happen? So, whichever way it goes in the upcoming, months, years, 2 years, whatever, it will just drive us closer to that understanding, understanding that this is not working anymore. Whichever way that's going to
Yes.
play out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. Yes.
So yeah, so this is where, we are redefining the way we identify reality through the past lenses, and actually seeing that, yeah, even these people that we don't like, they are helping us to ascend and awake and change this place into better place.
You're right. Yes, absolutely. Because it's it's the emotional field that's waking us up.
And that is the thing, that is the
Either
thing what I
way.
just shared with you, thanks to generosity of one of my clients of sharing the channel she received, with regards to the age of Aquarius, and how this overly emotional reactiveness of human race we are experiencing at the moment, which is the after effect of Piscean age. It is not going to be this way going forward. And, like I was sharing with you, this instead to a certain extent represents a sense of bewilderment. Like, how is it possible that we won't be emotional as human? Like, that is our quality, being emotional and reactive and stuff. But it is, again, it is not in alignment with the Aquarian age. Aquarian age is much more balanced, much more harmonized, equal. It's not about these continuous extremes and stuff. So that's why I feel that right now, especially with the 29 degrees and the Pisces, we've got going on this Saturn, Neptune, there are so many emotions and extreme reactions going on in our personal, individual experience, collective experience, world stage, everything, because we're just trying to learn to neutralize, like, we're trying to learn how to actually master our emotional states, not by suppressing
Yes.
emotions, but like, how can I be in charge of my emotions, like, not like I don't
Yes.
want to feel them, but master them.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And I think that that's been part of our journey during this year, creating this, new emotional container. First of all, we have to take responsibility for our own emotions. Where our setup has been and how we've been conditioned is to blame it all outward. Oh, this went wrong. Oh, you did this wrong and this or whatever. But really what we've been learning is to turn inward. Oh, with that understanding, look at the self instead of pointing the finger outward. You know, what is it in our emotional field that is causing us to feel this way? And making, if it's communication that you need to do, if it's a boundary you need to place, it's something, but it starts with a responsibility for your own emotions because they aren't other people's emotions. Everybody's got different emotions.
And we know as a fact
So,
that everybody is experiencing reality differently through their own lens, through their own filter.
yes, absolutely. So it's an interest. I mean, it's just an interesting perspective. I've been thinking a lot about it as a 29-degree Pluto and Capricorn sun. How I'm been in my past has been very emotionally volatile for the most part. And I generally in the past have blamed it outward, but this is what I'm saying, that I've learned that it's within me. What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I am doing? What needs to happen? How can I create the reality that I'm looking for?
And this is what I feel really this 29 degrees of Capricorn with the Virgo decan, which is about learning and adjusting. It's not about judgment, actually. It's not about criticism. It's just about human experience, the journey through life, is the emotional maturation. And this is
Yes.
also with the moon and Uranus being on the Capricorn decan and being in Taurus, which is like you need to embody the emotional maturation of like, because that's the funny thing that somebody point out to me. It's not like I came up with it. When we point the finger at someone, the rest of the fingers are pointing at us.
They're pointing
They're pointing
yeah.
at us. So it's like we pointed one finger, but what about the rest of them? Like at least the three, that are pointing at us. So that is that, because like right now with all this charge that's going on in the world, especially because of the politics, we are still pointing fingers, at each other, and but like literally, seriously, if you were on your deathbed and this is going on in the world, how much would you care? How much importance would you give to all of this? Would that really be the last thought you're thinking before you take your last breath? Would that really matter to you so much? Or like somebody said, will this still matter to me 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Is this what I want to remember? Like when I'm at the last stages of this life, that, oh, this was so important to me. I mean, is it really? And this is what I mean, that, with the Taurus, just like you started with, what you started with, what really matters to you? What are your values? Like just putting things into perspective.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And they are going to change, they're going to change with the times. I would imagine that people are holding on to, and it's interesting that there's a lot of how do I want to say it? Like the values that people hold are outside of them, like aligning with one set of values or aligning with another set of values, and you define yourself by those values. And that really helps to keep us separated from ourselves, which I think maybe that's this in conjunct between Mars and Venus right now.
Yeah, because it's the South
So
Node.
you just can't see it because we're holding values. But yeah, like I said, the moon, I like this moon Uranus conjunction because this is really breaking free the way we identify ourselves, who we are. And we'll have to determine what our internal values are and start to create those. Venus and Capricorn, start to create the container for those, and then Mars and Leo, and then start actioning what that is from the heart. But like you said, it's going back, so we have to pick up some more information.
Yeah, but you see, like, when you were saying about people like, value something which is most of the time outside of themselves, and you even, said that, well, this is probably to do with this square to the node, south node in Libra being the resolution here, because that's all we know. We were never being taught anything else. And who was meant to teach us when those before us didn't know any better either? Like this is story as old as thousands of years of time, if not longer. Like this is all people knew, so we cannot judge and blame them for not teaching us something they didn't know. But now we know, now we are learning, so we have the opportunity to take responsibility to teach our children something different. So if I can't experience it myself because I still have all this stuff in my head that is connected to the past, but like I can do better, with these young ones that are being programmed right now, to teach them to value something other than the cars and the handbags and this and that, and actually to value themselves and who they are and what they represent most and foremost, because majority of human population on this planet, probably more than 90%, struggles with self-worth, which is Taurus. So how they gonna value themselves if they don't even love themselves?
Yes. And I think that's part of this journey, and maybe that's what this moon and Uranus will bring about for some people, is a breaking apart of those old values and then starting to learn. The moon's going to move into Gemini, now you're going to associate your identity with learning who you are. We'll be learning about ourselves,
Yeah.
experiencing ourselves differently, and really learning a new perspective of ourselves. And we have many. And one particular perspective, like you were saying, this of not having good self-worth, that's something that's going to break apart and shift to us being able to value ourselves. Because it has to be from that place that we create those boundaries for ourselves. And we, it's like the values are the foundation, the values and the beliefs. And they're linked together, values and beliefs. Um, and we're having this opposition between Jupiter and repeated theme, right?
Mercury, yeah. Mutual
It's
reception.
yeah, it's just we're integrating our particular viewpoints with the viewpoints of everybody else, and whose viewpoint is, I mean, you can't understand what other people's viewpoints are. They've had different experiences. We've all had different upbringings and different educations. We live in different countries. Everybody's view is different. But then aligning with our own particular perspective based on and really holding that helps us to link with our values or vice. I'm not even sure which comes first, values or beliefs, but what our truth is, and we have to value that. We have to understand we're just human beings coming in to have this human experience,
Yeah,
and
just play a
and
role.
we're playing a role, and the scenery has changed. We're coming to act two. And so the curtain is closing. They're moving all the stuff around, and we're going to come out as a new role. And we get to choose the role that we're playing.
It's so funny because literally this is what came through my last two clients, the readings that I've just done in the past few days, literally the same message for this particular people. That was that literally what's happening for a lot of people, especially people, who are ready to make the leap of faith into an unknown. It's like
Yes.
a like this is again a theory because obviously I'm still here in a physical body and I can't tell you that I exactly remember how this happened. But when we die and we have the life review, and then when it's time to come back and reincarnate, and then you have the meeting with your spirit guides and you construct this new plan and this new identity and all this stuff for this next life, it's happening right here, right now. You don't have to die and go back and come back. It literally is happening right here, right
Um,
now in this life with the 29 degrees. We have in the live review. We're looking back at everything that was before, and we have the opportunity to learn from the lesson, release what we no longer need, or heal what is still stuck in the time and space and need to be resolved, which
yes.
is why so many people are experiencing all this overwhelm because so much stuff is coming up. And at the same time, especially with the new moon in Sagittarius, which we'll talk about next time, this birthing of the new story with Pluto in Aquarius for the first lunation, you have the opportunity to quantum leap into next lifetime, in this body, and start from the scratch. But the
Yeah.
foundation has to be strong, because that's
Yes.
the Taurus. Taurus is second sign of the zodiac. If the foundation is not strong, then it's not going to hold. The roots are not going to hold the tree. There will be no fruit, So this is what's being illuminated right now, that, we do have to start from within. And it's not glamorous. It's not nice. It's not pretty. It's not sexy. But that's where it has to start. It has to start from
Yes.
within.
Yes. And forgive yourself. We didn't know. Or yeah, we were ignorant to the different aspects of ourselves, and now we're becoming aware. And so you got to have self-compassion.
Well, and
You
that's
know,
another thing that somebody said to me. Again, I'm, repeating what I heard, just sharing the wisdom nuggets here, that,
mhm.
everything you've ever done and everything you've ever been, and those before us, of course, like made it possible for you to get here, like, so, I might be chastising myself for the mistakes I've done in my 20s, but all that mistakes and sacrifices that version of me did allowed me to get to here. Would I have not
Absolutely.
done that, gone through that, didn't sacrifice that, didn't, maybe self-sabotage, self-betrayed, whatever I did, I wouldn't be here now. So
exactly.
this is where the self-compassion, like you said, is
Yes.
necessary.
And there's that trine between Neptune and the moon.
Yes.
So working
Well,
is to show us that we have to have compassion for ourselves.
trying to sun, sextile to moon.
Yep. Yep.
And this is the shadow work. The sun is still in the sign of Scorpio. I mean, at this stage, it's in the
And
Cancer Decan, which is like, metamorphizing these identities, all these different versions of ourselves, which are still deeply embedded in our subconsciousness, is the soul
yes.
blueprint, the soul, what is it? Soul imprint, it's called. The soul
Mhm.
remembers everything that we've ever did, everything we've ever been in all these lifetimes. Our soul remembers all of it, and it all
Yeah.
exists, in time and space. It all exists.
Yeah.
So this is where I really feel that people just ought to give themselves some slack, because
Yes.
what we're dealing with here is much bigger than just your one life of however many years you've been in this planet in this incarnation. We're
Yeah.
dealing with everything that ever happened on this planet, everything that your soul ever gone through, and everything that all your ancestors, which is everything, ever gone through that lives within you. So, I mean, give yourself some slack, because the energy we are trying to move at the moment, shift, move, transform, transmute, and transcend, this is huge stuff. This is 29 years of Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. It goes back to source.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, really,
So
that's
it's
that's
huge.
the guiding light is these outer planets, and they can tell us a lot about where we are as as humanity, and where these things line in our birth charts. It talks about our individual stories.
Mm.
But yeah, all three outer planets are getting ready to shift signs.
And
Won't
Saturn.
be long. Yeah. And so it's like how you described earlier, the turning of the big ship. It's a very big ship, but it's turning.
It's
Um,
turning. It
and
takes some fineness
it's turning
maneuvering.
through each of us.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I
through
mean,
each of us. We're
we are
all
all
playing
connected.
the part. Yeah. Some people are pulling the ropes, other people are pushing this. We're all doing different things to make this come up, and the reality is expressing itself in this way. I often describe when and I'm a farmer, and so I have been practicing biodynamics for many years, and part of the practice is to use these substances, these naturally occurring substances. It's a little bit it's like I always call it spiritual farming, but it's the energy of placing an energetic substance into water and stirring the bucket. You stir the bucket. You stir the bucket really fast. You like try to make a vortex go to the bottom. And then you have to change directions because the universe doesn't always go in one direction. We're
Mm-hmm.
moving constantly. It's this back and forth energy, right? Like the breath. But what happens when you physically do that, and watch what happens when you stop and turn the other direction, the water starts to boil. Like it's not a smooth circle anymore. It's
Yeah,
this bubbling up. And sometimes it splashes out a little bit, but then eventually it catches up. And I feel like that's where we are. We're like slowing down the paddle because we're about to turn directions, and we are watching the upheavals, the floods and the wars and all of this is happening, but it's part of the energy of shifting from one direction to another direction.
exactly. This is perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect analogy, perfect visual, perfect example, because that's literally what it is. That's literally where we
Yeah.
at. And
Yep.
this is a huge energy. This is a huge energy, and the Taurus makes it very tangible, because we can feel it in our body, we can feel it in our senses, we are impacted in our everyday life, whether it's your finances, whether it's your relationship, whatever it is, but it's very tangible, it's very like in our face, very human. So
Yes.
yeah, so everybody is tapping into this energy in whichever way this is showing up in your personal life, but everybody's feeling this. Everybody's feeling this energy,
Yes.
even though they might not fully understand what the hell is happening.
Yes. And so for some people, it's showing up as illnesses and accidents.
Oh yeah,
It,
we've had those
I've
too.
been watching. I've been watching that happen around me, even with myself with my snake bite last month.
Hmm. Yeah, and
2 months
my
ago
my
now.
mystery
Ah,
illness and 1 week of constant headaches for literally 7 days non-stop constant headaches recently, and I was just like, what?
yeah,
Where is this coming from? So yeah, a lot of people are their physical body is just like, no more, no more. I'm not going this way anymore. That's
yeah.
it. You need to
We're
change the
purging some
course.
old stuff.
Mm.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the dawning of the new age, dawning of the new world.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a slow sunrise.
Yeah, I mean, we have the nodes
Hold on.
moving into Pisces, Virgo. Nothing moves fast in Pisces, Virgo, North Node in Pisces. It's just gonna be, like I really feel, and this is something I discussed with other people, and other people affirmed in their experience. We are already in the energy of 2025. Since the eclipses ended, since the full moon in Aries, that's it. For more than a month now, we are already in the energy of 2025. So this which we're experiencing
Yeah.
now, this flooding, this sense of culmination, this sense of like need to change things, need to purge things, needs to, and a lot of people in my proximity are sharing that, oh, I feel the need to get rid of stuff, like give away
Yeah.
old
I'm
clothes, stuff.
seeing that.
A lot of people are giving away stuff, even
Yep.
me, Taurus, attached to my belongings. I gave away almost my entire wardrobe I was still holding on to from my cruise ship days when I worked on a cruise ship. I had these beautiful dresses, which I know I'm never going to wear. And finally, before I came here to Mexico, I pulled the trigger and I gave away 15 dresses.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So, and I mean, that's a big thing for me. Some people would say, like, what a big deal. I'm a Taurus. I don't give my things
Yeah.
away easily. So, that was a big thing for me. And everyone I speak to is experiencing something similar, that they feel the need to, get rid of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And reorganizing and yeah, airing it out where to start fresh.
Is
And
the
we're doing
creating
that here on the
space.
farm.
Yeah.
It's creating space. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm feeling it as well. I mean, I cleaned and reorganized my house. I've moved my office like right now, you know how my office is set. I pushed the table all the way to the window. Like
Nice. You have
it's
a
all the way
better,
in the
more
corner.
light.
So, so that more light and I have more space behind me so that I can open and close that curtain easier. It just feels a little bit better. I'm gonna
You're
move
giving
this stuff
yourself
that's
more space to be.
yeah.
And that's what I feel. We all, because like this is another thing which I learned through spiritual practices and spiritual teachings, that all these things that we have, all these things that we are attached to, they have our energy. They have our energy. So it's like less energy available to us because all our energy is scattered all over the place, connected to things, people, like whatever, our mind, body, everything is connected to something. So like I feel that more and more people are calling that energy back to them. They simplifying. There is like what is the baseline, what is, like a lot of people feel the need to simplify. It doesn't mean that we all want to get rid of everything, definitely not me, but just to simplify a little bit, create more space, more breathing space for us just to be and to become.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Whoops. I don't know what I just did there, but I tried to get rid of something.
Oh,
Did
good
that pop
looking.
up on the screen for
No,
you?
no, no, everything is looking good on
Okay,
this end.
good. All right, great. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely what is happening. Um, Creating space, moving stuff out, getting ready for whatever is coming new. Because I feel like in the future, there just won't be time to do it. Like for some reason, that energy is right now. This,
Now and this next year and a half, when we have the nodes in a Pisces Virgo, even though that's questionable because a lot of channelers are saying that the timelines are shifting faster. So, last year we felt that we entered into 2024 in November, now in October. And I heard some channelers saying next year we enter in 2026 energies in the middle of summer from July.
oh,
So I feel
wow.
you're right, because with all these, and I think that's when Uranus is moving into Gemini, if I'm not mistaken, in July
Yes, I think
2025.
so.
So this is what we are talking about, that people feel, in a sense, this intuitive urgency. I don't know if it's so urgent, but this nudge, like very, very loud nudge, which we can no longer ignore, to start cleaning stuff, cleaning it up, cleaning
Yeah.
it up. Because I really resonate with what you said, that there will not be time. There will not be time because, you know, Saturn Aries, Neptune Aries, Uranus in Gemini, and Pluto in Aquarius. And yeah, Chiron is going to go into Taurus, but, you know, we're talking about the big players. These are all masculine energy. This is all going out there and doing stuff. So I feel like this next, however many months it is, but at least we have at least 7, 8 months. This is the time where, you know, we are releasing, we are letting go.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, like all of the alignments to Pisces, Pisces is this letting go energy. If I click on Pisces, you can see that there's a lot of alignments.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's touching Pisces. We're like spiritualizing, you know, we're letting go of that old stuff and coming, you know, and it's interesting. This I've heard a lot of people talking about the flooding, the emotional flooding, and the physical flooding that's happening literally
Mm.
all over the world. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it is insane how many, like, you know, like when I was staying with you, it was on your side of the world. Now it's in Europe, affecting Spain. And I don't,
yep,
you know, I'm sure there are other places, but I'm not really tapped in, you know, fully into Matrix. So I don't know what else is going on everywhere. But I know
yeah,
that there is a lot of flooding. And again, it's showing up in which the energy just has to manifest. How it's going to manifest, that's our choice. So the more people I feel that are doing this energetical and spiritual releasing, potentially the less water there has to be acting out on the physical plane. I don't know this as a fact, but I feel that the more of us that, you know, do the allow that flooding within ourselves to release, maybe there will be less necessity for this physical manifestation of water becoming
mm,
extreme to, but you know, north node in Pisces is a lot of water, so
it's a lot of water.
it
It
is a
is
lot
a
of
lot of
water.
water. Yeah. Well, it won't be long. That's happening.
Yeah, and
South Node moving into Virgo.
this is all to help us to connect back to ourselves, because everything, and this is the one thing that I'm really learning with my Pluto square Pluto on the Pluto line, that really everything is happening for us, everything, even though, you
Yes.
know, but again, you know, and this is something that I've experienced through my own personal feeling, that, you know, I struggle sometimes falling into victimhood and saying, but that doesn't make it okay, it doesn't make it fair, it's not fair, just because I understand it and see it from higher perspective, I'm still a human having this experience, and this is not okay, it's not fair.
Yeah.
So this is where, you
Doesn't feel
know,
good.
yeah, but this is where, you know, this is the Jupiter in Gemini and Mercury in Sagittarius, where we do have to open ourselves, and we already discussed this many times, you and I, to this multi-dimensional experience we are having, that it is
Yeah.
perfectly fine to feel this way, and you know, and rebel against it and feel pissed off and feel disappointed and resentful and all the rest of it, but at the same time hold the higher awareness and balance the energy that way.
Yeah, and I think that that's what these nodes moving into Virgo and Pisces is going to be about. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't looked at you know, the details of it, but just thinking about the South Node being in Virgo, now it's linking to this, you know, this old sense of not being good enough, feelings of yeah, being at the bottom of the totem pole or whatever it is, or even being high up on the pole. Like there's, you know, we're letting that stuff go. That's the past, South Node, past identity. It's a rebalancing of humanity, really, where we're going to become more equal. We're more, I mean, and like you said, it may take hundreds of years to get there, but that's the direction that we're heading.
Yeah, we don't have to like it, but that's what's
No,
happening. You know, we don't have to like it, but this is what the source is desiring for the next 2000 plus years. That this is what I want to experience. You're with me
yeah,
or against me, it doesn't matter. This is where we're going. This is the, you know, the detached clinical nature of Aquarius, you know.
yeah,
But also, you know, what came to me when you were saying about the Pisces and the, you know, well, you didn't say that aspect, you were talking about the Virgo with the you
yeah,
know, not good enough. I feel that the more we will be playing with that story in our head, the worse we will feel. you know. So literally, because we are such a strong manifestors, and at this stage we're becoming almost instant manifestors, the more that I will be playing out that story in my head, you know, of these self-deprecating beliefs and ideas, the more I'll be flooding in the experience of that. So this is literally, again, by contrast, universe is not doing this to punish you. Universe is giving you the opportunity to max out that experience by this extreme discomfort, to go, oh no, I don't like this story anymore, I don't want to be experiencing. So this is what I feel, that, you know, this might be potential experience of people who still struggling with this, which again is a shame and guilt is on the lowest scale of the frequencies. It's like frequency 20 or
Yes.
30 or something. Like, it's so far away from this joy and love and enlightenment and stuff. But it's okay, because we need to go through it. We cannot jump from 20 to 1000, you know, like we have to go through all of
Right.
it, right? But this is what I feel, that with this Pisces North Node that we heading towards in January, the more that this still lives within us, we will attract experiences that will remind us of us, and it will become so uncomfortable that we will have to make the choice, you know, with the Jupiter still being in Gemini until June next year, to let it go, because it will become unbearable. Like, because, you know, like we were saying, Taurus is the foundation. If I don't think I'm good enough, that's it. I cannot go any farther than Taurus. I cannot get to Aquarius.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's what this year and a half is going to bring for us, is looking at that and working our way through, and the planets are going to align in a way that we can heal from that.
Like, you
And
know,
then
we
and
have a
then things
choice.
will shift.
Things are already shifting. I mean, we can all
Oh,
see and feel it, but they're
yeah.
going to rapidly, intensely shift. I mean, you know, we're gonna already feel the nudges of that next year, but 2026, summer 2026.
2020, 2026, February 2026, when Neptune and Saturn conjunct at 0 degrees Aries, at the 0 point there.
That's gonna be a kick in the ass conjunction, but I really
That's
feel that
that's
the summer, especially when the nodes move into Aquarius, Leo, all the planets are in a new signs to stay for the next, you know, Uranus 8 years.
oh
But
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, that's just gonna be extreme, you know, it's just gonna be something else, you know. And that's going to trine, obviously Leo season is going to trine the point of that conjunction that you know, you mentioned in the Saturn Neptune,
Mm-hmm.
Leo to Aries. So that's where we really start feeling it, because conjunction is a blind, you know, it's like dark. Oh yeah, something
No,
got
it's like
reset.
you don't see it.
So that's what I
Yeah.
feel. I can feel fireworks are going to start shooting fire, you know, in summer 2026.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
this is not to scare people. This is to encourage people that, yeah, you know, you're building up towards something which you will see and it doesn't mean that, you know, you have to wait next 2 years. You know, for some people that's already happening in their life now. You know, you are the creator,
Yeah.
you attract the timeline you want to be experiencing when you want to be experiencing, when you frequency match to it. But as a collective, this is when we really will start to see some huge movement.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll start making changes, I think, once this moon moves into Leo, because that'll be near the square. And that's when we'll start, rationalizing what the changes are. Because like you said, the new moon, the new phase, you don't actually see it. It's dark. You can't see it. Things will break up and then you won't know what it is, but it'll just start manifesting slowly. But it's interesting. I think that it's about finding these internal values and also um, yeah, living with those values in mind,
Hmm.
and it really changes the way we live our lives, I think. Um,
Yeah, it's not about
and
comparing yourself to another. It's about living in
no,
your
no,
highest authentic expression, which of course is continuously changing as we keep evolving. But
sure.
this was never meant to be about comparisitis. You know, like us fighting
No,
with each other, competing with each other, comparing one with another, you know, because if you really believe the concept that everybody has a role to play and each role is equal and we came from the same place, return back to the same place, so, you know, in essence, and also as a human being and how we are physically constructed, emotionally wired, we are not that different. I mean, we are all unique,
Yeah.
but we are not that different, you know. So all this concept of competitiveness and stuff, this is all after effect of Aries age, you know, war and competition
Yes.
and you know, all
Exactly.
that. And then we went to Pisces age, which made us all feel like victims, you know, because Jesus sacrificed ourselves, and that made us feel somebody had to die for me. Oh my God, I'm a bad person, you know. And now that all is getting scrapped from the table, it's saying like, come on, let's go to the next level. This is what not what this was meant to be about, but it had to take place to get us to this point.
Yes, absolutely. There are no mistakes. Everything is purposeful, even if we don't see what the purpose is. And so, yeah, we're growing on.
Yeah. It's divine. It really is divine. It's like
It is.
it's divine comedy.
It is. It is a divine comedy. That's so funny.
Like
Yeah.
seriously, you know, I can just see the, you know, the aliens eating popcorn, watching Planet Earth, the greatest show on Earth, you
Oh my
know.
gosh. That's so funny. Tapping each other on. Did you see that over there? Laughing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
they're
like,
funny.
yeah, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. It's like you don't go laughing at 2-year-old for having a tantrum. You know, I mean, we can, but it's like we understand that this is all they understand. Or, you know, like when a baby starts to walk, you don't go and start criticizing it for not having a diploma or PhD. You celebrate that, oh, well done, you
Right.
learned to walk, well done, you know, like whatever. So that's what
Yeah.
I mean. It's all about the divine timing. You are, every single one of us is exactly where we meant to be, because the soul is always in charge. It's always in charge. So it's not like you comparing to your brother, sister, mother, whoever, and saying like, "Oh, I'm so ahead or so behind." There's no such a thing,
Yeah. No,
because the soul is
no.
in charge. The soul knows exactly when there is the right time. It's all about divine timing.
Yes.
But collectively
Yep.
wise, we are getting a nudge. All of us.
But we are definitely getting the nudge. Definitely getting the nudge. And yeah, I think it's awesome. This ability to create our reality. It's we're stepping into that journey. Um, as I was writing about it, I was like, we are becoming the architects of our own lives
For
right
sure.
now.
Absolutely. With
What
Jupiter
what do
retrograde.
you want in your life? What don't you want in your life? And manifest that.
And it's really like the one thing that's been coming out strongly from different sources for me, you know, with regards to manifestation, was that focus on the feeling, you know, like go back to your
Mm,
database in your brain. Like, when did you have the experience when you experienced that feeling which you want to recreate, you know? So, whatever that is, you know, whatever it is that, you know, like, I don't know, having an extraordinary experience with someone, or having a wonderful experience, you know, going on a walk or whatever it is, but the feeling, like capturing the feeling of that experience and going, I want more of this universe, you know. And they said even just few seconds, like 3 times, like they said 5 to 15 seconds every single day, multiple times a day, when you tune into the frequency of that feeling, of that thing that you experience, that you would want to experience again, not necessarily the same details, but that feeling, it will completely shift everything, and it
yes.
doesn't have to be so hard. And this is something that really stuck with me, because you know we always are so um, rigidly attached to details of that it has to be this person, it has to be this circumstance, it has to look like this, smell like this, all of that. But it's all about this, like, well, how did it make you feel, and do you want to feel that way again, and then leave the rest to universe to figure out.
I love that. Yeah. And I think that's part of this, breaking this Uranus in Taurus is breaking that free. And also Venus in Capricorn, creating that. So yeah,
Yeah, but
very
then, you know,
interesting.
the caveat is obviously the, do you feel worthy to receive it?
That's the thing. And that's what we're breaking out of. If you
And
didn't feel worthy before, maybe tomorrow you'll begin to feel some worthiness.
yeah, step by
It
step, you
might take
know.
longer.
For sure,
It might
because
take
again, we
longer.
are turning a big ship. big ship of thousands of years of feeling unworthy. So you can't expect it to change tomorrow necessarily. For some people,
No.
maybe they're ready, maybe they're already there, which is again about don't compare yourself to someone else, but be present with your own journey.
Yep, your own timeline, because that's what you're on. You can't get on anybody else's.
Oh, like seriously, like we can just go so deep. Doesn't matter which chart we
Yeah,
look at because there is so much,
it's true.
so many rabbit holes we can go into.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think for
Well,
now we probably good. What do you feel?
I think, yep, yep. It's all part of the process. We're all working toward our new identity.
Mars will
It's
help.
coming.
Don't worry, Mars will help.
Mars will help.
It will help for
Mars
sure.
absolutely will help. And all the planets have been through Leo. And so we all have spent, the summer aligning with our true sense of self, trying to figure out what that is. And the North Node and is heading that way. So
Yeah, and also, like just for people just to have like like the physical tangible proof for the brain to chew on. Like just look back at the beginning of May when we had the new moon in Taurus and look at yourself now and how much your life probably has changed. And if it didn't change outside of you, but how much you've changed, how much your perception
mm,
changed, how much your values changed, potentially how much your relationship towards yourself. Or if it hasn't changed, at least there is that feeling or desire or probably realization that something has to change. So it's like, how we shifting in these cycles, within cycles from the new moon to full moon and the new moon again. You are not the same person you were in May when we had a new moon in Taurus.
nope, nope, you're right. Thanks for that, because that was an interesting journey back to May.
Yeah, so there is your validation, you don't need it from
Totally
anybody
different.
else.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a constant thing that's happening. We're constantly growing and changing. Every month, the moon is making its way around again and again,
Changing your inner
adding different
landscape.
energies. Yeah,
Exactly.
so that's good.
Yeah, it is story of your life that you are
It,
co-creating with the universe.
yes. Yep. So pick up your magic wand and start creating.
That's it. And when you come across a blockage, belief system blockage, have a chat with it. Where did you come from? What are you trying to
Yep,
help me to understand? How did you save me previously? And what role can I give you now? Because this is no longer in resonance where we're going, you know?
exactly. Exactly.
Because we have the tendency to just reject these aspects and hide away from them or just put them in a closet and go like, no, no, can't see that, doesn't exist, don't know what you're talking about. But actually they will just keep coming back over and over and over again through different people or different circumstances, reminding you of the same thing until we look at them and have a chat.
Yep. Yep. I said that in my report. We just got to feel it. We got to feel it. We got to talk about it and prepare for the shift. I mean, we just can't shove stuff down inside. We're during this whole process of lifting stuff up so that we can heal. We have to continue that process of, you know, experiencing our experiences, feeling how we feel about it, no matter if you judge it to be good or bad, it doesn't even matter. You just feel the feelings.
Yeah, and then at some point you get to that point of neutrality, which you just like, you still feel pang of something, but it just doesn't affect you the same way anymore. You kind of just become neutral
Yeah.
towards it. You go like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all in the learning process. It's helping us grow.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what we're all doing is growing and shifting and changing and becoming our future selves. And that will happen, even after the nodes move it through Aries. We're just continuing on. We aren't the same people that we were when we were 5, and we won't be the same people when we're 80. Just the way that it is.
I'm not even the same person I was when I left Mexico in April.
I know,
So
right?
thinking about 5-year-old me, that's like different incarnation already.
I know, right? But so, yeah, that's just the journey.
Yeah.
It's like the scenery is moving behind. Everything is constantly changing, and we just have to adjust to what our current situation is and, and grow from it. So,
Yeah, and then it takes us back to the
yeah,
core message,
it's,
how magical this life is. What a miracle to be here, to be alive,
yeah, yes,
and have all these potentials to choose from.
yep. I mean, even through the pain, we all have painful experiences, and it helps us to create compassion for others that are going through experiences of that way. And
Exactly. And, like this is something I experienced very recently, heartbreak. And I'm so grateful because I can feel again, through this experience, I can feel again. I didn't even realize that I couldn't feel anymore because I was so shut down, so like trying to protect myself around the whole world. And now I can feel everything. And what a gift that is.
wow, that's awesome. I'm hoping that happens for me. I got,
Well,
I
I
got
don't
to,
know, like, would I choose that? But I mean, now in the after effects of
no,
that, I'm
but
like, yeah, I can see the gift of it.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so see everything in your life as a blessing and gift from your higher self.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
While having the
Mhm.
experience and having compassion for the aspect of yourself that has to go through it and feel the feels while they're in action. So
Yep.
anyway, I think I'm
Yes,
I'm ready. I'm ready to close this Taurus full moon. How
a-
about you?
absolutely. And we'll still happen tomorrow. I'm excited for it. We'll see how tomorrow unfolds. But the energies are powerful,
Yeah.
and yeah, we have the opportunity to do some real growth here.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is not like revolutionary new information. We've been in this frequency for a long time. So it's just becoming
Oh
more
yeah, we have.
manifest because with Taurus, things are more tangible. So yeah, but
Yeah.
we can see what we didn't see 6 months ago, but it's nothing shocking new.
No, no, no. But definitely, I like your message about coming into the body and feeling it. I think that is really what's most important. Because at this point, we can hardly trust our eyes. We
Oh,
have
yeah.
to be able what's feeling inside, because the body doesn't lie. It just it has truth in it, and you can feel it.
And that's why,
And
like
once,
we were talking with the new moon in Taurus, that disconnection from the physical body was the most genius idea because it is your instrument for the higher self to communicate and act through you.
yes, yeah. So yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
All
So,
right.
Adrienne, what new announcements you've got for us?
I have nothing new coming out, but you can still reach me and check out my moon report. You can find me on my website, jasskieran.astrology.com. And there's a link there to my Substack account that has my moon report and really all of them that I've been doing for over a year now. And also, you can find there readings that I offer and, various amounts of time. And also, I post my moon reports or the links to them on my Facebook account, Adrienne Gibson. And also, I have a Facebook, Jess Kieran Astrology. So you can find me at any of those places. And yeah,
Yeah, and Adrienne now has a bit more time, so book her in while she's available
yeah,
before the seasons begin again, before
true.
the wheel turns again. So this is the time to treat yourself to a nice Christmas present and have a reading with Adrienne.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that would be nice.
Exactly. All
Awesome.
right. So thank you, Adrienne, for joining me for this
Thanks,
enlightening
Mila.
conversation. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching. I hope that what we shared resonated. And if it didn't, then just, leave it behind. And yeah, I wish everybody a happy full moon in Taurus for tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
So until the Sagittarius
Thanks,
new
Mila.
moon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.